Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new Mobile Pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to DRF.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
The Sunday program at Ruidoso Downs for Labor Day weekend is outstanding, highlighted by the $1 million All-American Derby, the $421,000 All-American Oaks, which is being run for the first time for 3-year-old fillies, and the All-American Gold Cup for older horses, a $125,000 race that has really drawn an outstanding field, and all three of those races are at 440 yards. Hi, I'm Steve Andresen. Welcome to the Daily Racing Form's preview of the Sunday Major Stakes at Ruidoso Downs, and you can make bets on those races through DRFbets.com too, and that's easy to access on the DRF.com website as well. Well, let's take a look at these three races through that major program. And the Rainbow Oaks, the All-American Oaks rather, is a continuation of a series that started this year at Ruidoso. The Rainbow Oaks was in July and was won by Ratification, who'll be a standout favorite in the All-American Oaks at 440 yards. She's 3 for 3 at the distance. An outstanding trial race earlier this month, or last month rather, on August 23rd. Nothing wrong with the way she won. She won at 1-5. Should be a little better priced in the All-American Oaks, but I can't promise you very much because she's 9-5 on the morning line, and I think that's too ambitious. I think she's going to be closer to even money. She does have to run against a few very nice 3-year-old fillies in this race, but believe me, she's really in excellent form and one of the more outstanding 3-year-old quarter horse fillies going right now. For this race, officially she'll be trained by Juan Vasquez. Her previous trainer, John Buchanan, died of heart issues in late August. Vasquez was an assistant to Buchanan, so he knows the barn, he knows Ratification, and I expect her to run a very good race on Sunday. Her leading opponents are trial race winner Kiss Through Fire, who didn't run as quickly and as Ratification did in the trials. There were 4 time trials for the All-American Oaks, and they all ran within a very short period of time in about a 90-minute section. So in that regard, you had a pretty good line on the same track conditions for all 4 of those races. There was just a little bit more of a tailwind towards the 3rd and 4th trial races than there was when Ratification won the 2nd trial. Of the other fillies to look at, Valiant Azteca, who's an 8-1 shot, is a little bit of a long shot's chance to be in the first 3. She's run well at Ruidoso this year in the Rainbow Oaks earlier this season. And also full marks in respect to BV She's Like the Wind, who was a nice 2-year-old at Ruidoso in 2019 and has continued that form as well this year. So Ratification looks like a standout, quite frankly. If the other fillies would have to run an extremely good race, and Ratification would have to run a subpar race. But if you had to go with an exacta, I think you'd go Ratification first, and then perhaps put Valiant Azteca second in those exacta bets. There is a double linking the All-American Oaks to the All-American Derby, and there's a little bit more of a spread situation in the All-American Derby. It's worth $1.077 million, 440 yards. Time trials were held on August 23rd, and a very good field has been assembled for this race. Looks like really a very consistent group of 3-year-olds in Ruidoso. Back in July, the Rainbow Derby was won by Sir's Final Try, who finished ahead in front of the filly Hot Sempting, who was a nose in front of Gold Heart Eagle V. And those 3 are going to be the 3 dominant runners in the betting for the Rainbow Derby. They all came back and ran very well in the trial race. Gold Heart Eagle V is the fastest qualifier with a 4-length win in the trials, the best performance he's had, going 440 by far. He's going to have to probably be just as good in this race because Sir's Final Try, who was first in the Rainbow, as mentioned, came back to run a good trial race earlier that day. And also Hot Sempting, who is the leading 3-year-old filly in Ruidoso. She won the Ruidoso Derby back in June, now and second in the Rainbow. That's very good marks. I'm very complimentary of Ratification earlier, but this one's been going against males through the summer, and that, I think, carries a little bit more weight. And she can come back and win this race very easily, too. Keep an eye out on Love Is Everything V, who was the trial race winner in 21.45 seconds and has won 3 of his last 4. He's a bit of a long shot chance if one of these first 3 that I've touted so highly don't run as well. But here are my picks. I think in this case I'm going to go with Hot Sempting first, Gold Heart Eagle V second, and Sir's Final Try third, with a little bit of, as mentioned, respect for Love Is Everything V. Might have some fun with the doubles there from the All-American Oaks to the All-American Derby. Finally, the older horses. This is personally a favorite group of runners nationwide, especially those that come together in California every December and run in the Champion of Champions. Well, this is a good group, too, at New Mexico. And these guys, this field includes the first 3 finishers of the championship at Sunland Park back in December, and that was won by Valiant Tiberius, who looks like he'll probably be the post-time favorite in this All-American Gold Cup at 440 yards. I'm just a little bit reluctant to pick him. I thought he did well when he won the Mr. Jet Moore handicap at 400 yards, a prep race for this All-American Gold Cup. He was a very good winner of that race with, and beating a very solid field, including SC Moneymaker, who's also in this field. And there was no trials for the All-American Gold Cup. It's a conventional stakes race worth $125,000, and so in that regard, it's got a field of 8. So the qualifications are different than the races that we mentioned earlier. Again, Valiant Tiberius, full respect for that one. However, the selection is Dexter, who was 2 for 2 and the leading older horse at the Remington Park Spring Quarter Horse Meeting. He won the Leo Stakes and came back to win a very good running of the Remington Park Championship on May 29th or so for trainer Monte Rosa. And that one also was stakes placed at Los Alamitos in some leading 3-year-old races, derbies, last year when trained by Jaime Gomez. So I think Dexter can do well. It's his first start at Rio Dosa. That's a tiny concern there, considering that Valiant Tiberius is really good at Rio Dosa, having won 5 of 9 starts in his career at Rio Dosa. But Dexter's form in Oklahoma, I think, is just slightly better than Valiant Tiberius's current form in New Mexico. So the 3-1, I think, is a factor in the decision. I do believe that Dexter can run a big race. Danger was an 8th in the Remington Park Championship. He was only beaten about a length and a half, and I think he can do well in this field too. Trained by Dean Fry, Danger went up to Canterbury Park and won the Canterbury Challenge Championship in early July. That qualified him for a big, lucrative 300-grander at the Downs of Albuquerque in late October. And this race here, the All-American Gold Cup, is prestigious enough on its own, but it helps get Danger ready for the Albuquerque race. Danger's done well at Rio Dosa in his past. He was 2nd in the Sunland Park Championship that I mentioned a moment ago as well. It's a good field, interesting depth to the field. Apolitical Jess, who won the 2018 All-American Futurity, is a 10-1 shot here. He hasn't had that good of a year. He's 0 for 4. That's not him. Very good in 2019 at Rio Dosa, winning the Rio Dosa Derby, but his form hasn't continued, and I don't expect it to here against this group. If he runs in the first 3, I'll be delighted for Bill Robbins, but a little bit surprised, to be candid about it. A long shot to look at, No Miras a la Luna, 2nd in the Zia handicap for New Mexico breds at the end of July, and a better than looked race considering it was in the mud. Maybe she didn't fancy the surface too much, but the mare was drawn on the rail, and she came flying to almost get the money and had just beaten ahead in that field. And I think if she can, in a better draw here, can be a long shot to look at. I think No Miras a la Luna is definitely one for those who like to bet exactas and trifectas. The selections are Dexter to win the race against Valiant Tiberius, and we're full respect for both, just a preference for Dexter. 3rd pick, No Miras a la Luna, the 15-1 chance. I think she'll be about that in this race because it is a very competitive group. It's an excellent card at Rio Dosa on Sunday, and then, of course, there's the All-American Futurity on Monday, which is also previewed on this website here on DRF.com. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck this weekend at the races at Rio Dosa Downs.